Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youth and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery, why they whitewash our history, keep dividing is their plan? All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. Hey, Friday. I don't mean to come across as condescending or a know-it-all. I don't mean to be short or curt with what I'm about to say this Friday. And maybe it's just because I'm butt-ass tired. But I just, all I got this morning is, where you been? Where you been, everybody? Waking up this morning, drinking your coffee this morning, schlepping the kids off to school this morning, heading into work this morning, whatever you're doing. And while you're doing whatever you're doing this morning, you scroll on your phone, the laptop, whatever, and you find out that Donald Trump had Don Lemon arrested, a journalist arrested. Former CNN guy, Don Lemon. Thanks, Keith. Don Lemon was arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles this morning in connection to a Minnesota church protest a couple weeks back. So you wake up this morning, you read that news. Oh my God, Donald Trump just had a journalist arrested for doing journalism. And you scream like, oh my God, that's it. Joe, Trump's a fascist. He's a tyrant. He's an authoritarian. He's arresting journalists. Don Lemon arrested. Thanks, Keith. I had a good friend reach out to me this morning, having learned that Don Lemon was arrested. And this is a good friend who's a political independent, voted for Trump the first time, voted for Biden the second time, didn't vote for either Kamala Harris or Trump in 24. And this is the first I've heard this word out of him. He reached out to me this morning and he said, oh my God, Joe, he's arresting journalists in America. Joe, that's it, man. That's it. That's fascism. Trump's a fascist. I replied to him with just a very simple question. Where you been? Yo, John, where you been? He's been fascisming things from the very beginning. I've been screaming he's a fascist since January 6th. Where you been? He arrests a journalist, and all of a sudden, this is like the last straw. That's it. He's a fascist. And I'm hearing this reaction a lot this morning. And I know part of it is the media world and the social media world. And this is Trump arresting Don Lemon, one of their own. He's arresting a former CNN guy, now a well-known independent journalist. And I like Don Lemon, respect him a lot. Used to go on his show a bunch. But I'm getting this reaction from so many people across the board this morning, like, uh-oh, that's it. Trump's gone too far. This is fascism, Joe. And I'm hearing that. And again, my instant reaction is, where you been? Where you been? Where were you? Where you been the last year? Trump turned our Justice Department into his personal law firm. He's been using our Justice Department to go after his political enemies. Where you been? That's fascism. He's been extorting media companies, universities, and law firms like a strongman, like a tyrant, like a fascist. He's been extorting universities and the private sector. Where you been? That's fascism. He has a secret police force fully masked on our streets, detaining and disappearing brown and black people, though now it's moved beyond brown and black people. This secret police force detaining and disappearing people without any due process. That's fascism. Where you been? He invaded a sovereign nation to steal their fucking oil all by himself, ignoring the Constitution. That's fascism. Where you been? From the moment he became president, he's declared war on free speech. He's been suppressing speech wherever he can. He denies entry into this country for anybody whose speech he doesn't like. That's fascism. Where you been? There are concentration camps all over the country right now, full of brown and black children held in inhumane conditions. That's happening here in America. It's been going on for the past year. That's fascism. Where you been? Now Don Lemon so now he arrests a journalist, and all of a sudden now, ding, 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 the light bulb goes off. That's fascism. He's been inciting political violence from the beginning. That's what fascist leaders do. Where you been? He's obsessed with putting the military on our streets. The supremacy of the military, the National Guard. He's put the Marines on our streets. Again, his secret police force. That's what all good fascist leaders do. Use the military against the citizenry. That's fascism. Where you been? He's singularly obsessed, and he's been acting on it, trying to control the media, threatening the media. denying access to the media. He's declared war on the free press from the moment he came onto the scene 8-9 years ago, declaring the free press in this country the enemy of the people. That's fucking fascism. Where you been? He's always been a fascist. His entire brand is nationalism above all else. The powerful push of nationalism. That's fascism. His entire brand from the beginning has been identifying and scapegoating the enemies of white America. Make America great again. Man, that's a fascist slogan if I've ever seen one. Who didn't make America great? America used to be great, and now it's no longer great. We got to make it great again. Well, who fucked things up? Who's to blame? Brown and black people. Scapegoating minorities, scapegoating. He's been attacking gays and transgender Americans from the beginning. That's what all fascist leaders do. They're to blame. Brown and black people are to blame. Muslims are to blame. He's been banning people who are brown and black from coming into this country. He's been denying access into this country to brown and black people, brown and black immigrants. That's what all good fascist leaders do. Find me a scapegoat. Find me a minority. Find me a religious minority. Find me an ethnic minority. They're to blame. Got to get rid of them. Every time there's an act of violence in this country, he blames brown and black people. That's fascism. Where you been? A National Guard member, when was it? After Thanksgiving, member in D.C., shot and killed by an Afghan national, someone in this country legally, and Trump came out that night, and went on a tirade, an attack against Somalians who had nothing to do with that National Guard attack. That's fascism. He's all about protecting big corporate power. He's made big corporate business leaders bend the knee. He's formed a big corrupt alliance with a few big corporate business leaders. That's fascism. Where you been? And I won't even get into all the rampant cronyism and the rampant in-our-face corruption. He's attacking democracy and our elections process. He's done it from the very beginning. He tried to overthrow an American election. That is fascism. Did you call him a fascist then? Or you got to wait until Don Lemon's arrested, and then he's a fascist. His entire presidency has been about stripping the American people of their rights. Stripping immigrants in this country legally of their rights, stripping immigrants in this country illegally of their rights. That's fascism. Where you been? He's been doing that from the very beginning. Mass deportations based on the color of your skin, based on what country you come from. That's fascism. His heavily armed, masked, secret militia out on our streets. His utter disdain for human rights. His disdain for intellectualism and the arts. So he's putting his name everywhere. His obsession with crime and punishment. You know, a lot of people say Trump's not a fascist because he's too much of a fucking idiot and all he cares about is Trump. Everything he's doing has been fascist in nature, tyrannical in nature. I've alternated from the beginning. He's the very thing our founders feared. He's a tyrant. He's a strongman. He's an authoritarian. He's a fascist. I would say that everywhere I went when I campaigned for Kamala Harris in 2024. Kamala Harris in 2024, when asked, called him a fascist. Joe Biden pretty much called him a fascist in 2024. To my new political party, my Democratic Party, come on, it walks and talks like a duck. I need you, my Democratic colleagues, to not be afraid. If you believe Trump's a fascist, say it. Have the courage to say it. Don't be afraid. He is a fascist. But by definitions of fascism are so mixed and broad now over the years, but by damn near every definition, he pretty much fills every single box. Powerful push of nationalism, disdain for human rights, scapegoating of minorities to blame as a unifying cause, supremacy of the military, rampant sexism, holding aloft traditional gender roles, anti-gay, trying to control mass media, obsession with national security, intertwining religion and government. Again, Trump's an idiot, but the most powerful animating force in Trump's political party is white Christian nationalism. And people around Trump are very outspoken about it. Protections of big corporate power, suppression of labor power, disdain for the intellectuals and the arts, obsession with crime and punishment, rampant cronyism and corruption, and pushing fraudulent elections. Authoritarianism, mass arrests, inciting political violence. Just those three alone. Who does that sound like? What does that sound like? Authoritarianism, mass arrests, the suppression of rights. I'll put that one there. Inciting violence, political violence. Trump's been very clear the last 6-7 months what his plan is for the midterms this year. Put his military on the streets to incite the American people to violence so that he can invoke the Insurrection Act, declare martial law, and fuck with or stop the midterms from happening. That's fascist. I understand why arresting a journalist for so many people hit close to home this morning. But Trump's been a fascist, engaged in fascist activities from the very beginning. There's a professor, Robert Paxton, that has a paragraph on fascism that I just love this Friday. Here's his definition. It's a form of political behavior marked by obsessive preoccupation with community decline. Make America great again. Humiliation or victimhood. His entire appeal to white Christian America is that you are victims. And by compensatory cult of unity, by a compensatory cult of unity, energy, and purity, in which a mass-based party of committed militants working in uneasy but effective collaboration with traditional elites abandons democratic liberties and pursues with redemptive violence and without ethical or legal restraints goals of internal cleansing and external expansion. Working in an uneasy but effective collaboration with traditional elites. Think Silicon Valley billionaires. Think the Supreme Court. Think my former political party. Think all the media moguls who've sat at his table, who've bent their knee. Privately, they know what he is. Publicly, they have to dance the dance. Abandons democratic liberties and pursues with redemptive violence and without ethical or legal restraints goals of internal cleansing, concentration camps, mass deportations, stripping of rights, and external expansion. Venezuela, Greenland, whatever the fuck I want. You'll get great updates today on the arrest of Don Lemon, the journalist, and guaranteed the case will probably be dropped. There's no case against him. But that's not the point. There was no case against James Comey. There's really generally no case against any of his political opponents who he has used our Justice Department to go after. Doesn't matter. And you can go to much better, wiser, more expert analysis for all of that. My only thought this Friday is, yes, arresting journalists is not something we should do in America. Dictators arrest journalists. Tyrants, strong men, fascists arrest journalists. My only point is, this is just the latest in a long trail of a strong man in the White House who's been actively advancing fascism in this country. And so many, again, I'm a new Democrat. I say what I believe. I've been calling Trump a fascist for years. So many Democrats are so loath to say that word, to call him that. I wrote a whole Substack piece on this yesterday. Have the courage, if you believe Trump's a fascist, have the courage and explain what that is to your voters, right? But too many in my new political party are afraid to go down this road. We got to talk about the price of meat, Joe. I got to talk about the price of coffee, Joe. I can't be talking about fascism. I can't be talking about a guy who's unleashed white supremacism to dismantle democracy, Joe. I can only talk about the price of coffee, Joe. And that's what Democratic consultants and advisors tell Democratic politicians and consultants, to which I say, fuck that. If you, for the first time in American history, we have the very thing our founding fathers feared in the White House. If that can't compel you to talk about more than the price of beef, I can't help you. For the first time in American history, we have a tyrant, a fascist in the White House, here in America. And if that can't compel you to get out of your lane and talk about more than the price of milk, I can't help you. He's arresting journalists. Excuse me. 6 years ago, he committed crimes trying to overthrow an American election. I like Don Lemon a lot, respect Don Lemon a lot. But a sitting president committing crimes, trying to overthrow an American election, that's a much bigger deal, right? And I didn't hear anybody screaming, he's a fascist back then. He's been acting like a strongman from the moment he was sworn in. It's this fear that so many have. And I think the fear comes from a fear to go there, like to use that word. Oh, that's strong. Fascist, tyrant, dictator. And then I think there's a fear, then you got to explain it, and you've got to help make the American people understand why it's a really big deal. And most politicians are afraid to do that. It's so much easier to say eggs are too expensive. It's a lot easier to say that to voters. I'll tell you, I think most American voters can be told about the price of beef and the preservation of our democracy. I think most American voters can handle both, can think about both. I think you can tell most American voters, look, we have a fucking fascist in the White House who is deporting people without due process, putting people in concentration camps, extorting the media and universities. He's arresting journalists. He's mass deporting people. We have concentration camps in America. Go on and on and on. I think you can get into that with voters and talk about the price of stuff. I think they can handle both. And I think if you're a politician run for office, and you can't do both, I don't think you deserve to run for office. I don't think you deserve to be elected. One more thought this Friday. And I don't apologize. I was going to apologize for this stream of consciousness show. I'm not. You know, what is fascism, right? That's out there. And so, oh my God, I got to think about it. I got to justify it. I got to explain it. I know most of my Democratic colleagues believe Trump is a fascist. They're just afraid to say that. And they're told by smart political consultants and advisors, don't say that. So I get it. And I understand that the average person, again, because the definition of fascism is so bastardized by now, and we're still living in the post-European fascist period, the post-World War I Italian-German definition of fascism. I leave you with this, and I say this as a former Republican, as someone who comes from the right. Trump represents an American fascism, different from the European fascism that was born in the trenches of World War I. Trump's fascism, his grievance-based fascism, his make America great again fascism, brown and black people and gay people and transgender people, they fucked up America. They made America bad. We got to make America great again. That fascism of Trump's, that's an American fascism, and it's rooted in slavery. It's rooted in, it emerges from segregation, and it emerges from a racial backlash. We can't deny that. That's a big part of this. And I say that as someone who comes from the right and still engages with the right. Donald Trump represents, like white Christian America's last punch, baby. Last gasp, baby. Make America Great has never been a subtle campaign slogan. Make America white again. Make America Christian again. That's the most obvious principal aspect of Make America Great Again. Trump's fascism, his American fascism, is a white supremacy fascism. It's a fascism that wants to put brown and black people in concentration camps or deport them. It's a fascism that wants to rewrite our history, which, by the way, Trump's been doing from day one. removing any references to slavery, any references to segregation in our museums, removing memorials for Black soldiers who fought to defend democracy in Europe in World War II. I mean, erasing our racial history is fascism. And it's what Trump and people around Trump have been doing from the very beginning. Where you been? That was fascism. He removed all references to his 2 impeachments in the Smithsonian months ago. That's fascism. Trying to erase all evidence of our racist past. I adore this country. I love this country. This is the greatest country God's ever put on this planet. We have an original sin. We have a racial original sin that we've been grappling with and wrestling with, and we have not overcome from the very beginning. But this guy, this fascist, wants to erase all references to that. That's what undergirds this Trump American fascism. Make America white again. Make America Christian again. He is a fascist. Donald Trump is. He's been a fascist from day one. Yeah, he's an idiot. And yeah, he's a psychopath. And yeah, he can't see beyond his nose and he doesn't care about anything or anyone but himself. But he's a fascist and he's been engaged in fascist activities from day one. He's been moving this country toward the land of fascism from day one. He's been surrounding himself with little fascists like Stephen Miller from day one, all in an effort to dismantle democracy. So I close with, be upset, be righteously angry that now he's arresting journalists. He arrested Don Lemon. It's wrong. It's outrageous. It shouldn't happen in America. But doggone it, add it to the list and now have the courage to call a duck a duck. Trump's a fascist. Have the courage to call him that. Have the decency to explain that to your voters and to your audience. Thanks for listening. This Friday, I wish you all a great weekend. Fascist.app is one of our tools to lawfully attack his fascism. That's our one-stop shop, our Know Your Rights app that we've built that immigrants in this country can use to lawfully fight back against what ICE is doing, his secret police force on our streets. We're crowdfunding the building and distribution of this app. That means we've got thousands of Americans who've given $10 or $1,000 to become a part of this, because here's the key. The fascist in the White House, talk about fascism. If the CEO of Apple developed what we developed with Paxos, Trump would go after the CEO of Apple. In fact, he did, and Apple backed down. So big corporate America is not going to develop a tool to help immigrants in this country and citizens fight back against Paxos, because Trump, the fascist in the White House, will just sick our Justice Department on him, which is why Apple, Google, none of the big buttheads would even think about or have created what we've created, a Know Your Rights app for immigrants in this country. The beauty of us is we're not a big butthead. We are thousands of Americans. We're crowdfunding this thing. Trump can't come after tens of thousands of us. Become a part of it. Go to Paxos.app right there. Woot, woot. Paxos.app. Go there, read about the app. We built it. We're going to begin distributing it. We need your help. Again, whatever you can give, Share it with whoever you can share it. The more we can raise, the more lives we can save and protect. Fascist.app. My Substack. I'll leave you with this Friday. Subscribe if you'd like. Helps me keep my voice going. Got a great piece in there from yesterday. I think it's called A Plea to the Democratic Party from a Still New Democrat. Me. I've been a Democrat 9 months. My plea to my party from day one has been meet this moment. Please, Democrats. I explain it in this piece. Social Contract with joewalsh.substack.com. Shoot me an email if you'd like about anything that's on your mind. The Social Contract with joewalsh.gmail.com. All one word. The Social Contract with joewalsh.gmail.com. Have a good weekend. Stay warm. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.